This is a project left over from yesterday. Cleaning and servicing two Duracraft window table fans. I got tired last night and didn't finish, so we're picking back up today. I need to get extension to the dishwasher. I'm going to try to put all this on the top rack because I've never washed these before, so I don't know exactly how resilient the plastic is. I don't think it'll have a problem, but I'd rather minimize the likelihood of there being a problem. Might not be able to do that. This is not gonna work. Okay. Rats. Seriously? Make sure the cords don't fall down and then get interfering with the sprayer apparatus. Alright, that should be good. Water's already in. Okay, we'll do the power scouring. We'll put it to pots and pans, and no heated dry, that's unnecessary. The blades, I'm just going to clean manually in the sink. I don't safe that the blades would get damaged from the heat, but I don't know. I don't want to find out. Easy enough to wash the blades by hand to just do that. The grills that are really time consuming to wash by hand. That I don't want to do. So clean that the water beads up on the surface. That foam really is absolutely incredible. Now we're going to work on the motors. This one we got to sand down the shaft because I drilled a hole through this one to get the replacement situation for this. So we got to sand down the shaft to make sure there's no burrs or anything on there, so we can slide off the bearing. Slack here, but go ahead and try to plug this in if we can. Don't think this is going to work. Probably have to just tack on some new leads to it. Okay, we'll have to put on some new leads. Or actually, you know what we can do? We can strip it back. That should solve the problem. Still not making any of the connection. There it goes. Let's see if that's enough. Hello? Hello? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? You're a stupid, dumb idiot. Go fart in a bag. Anyways, let's see if this bearing is ready to slide off of here or not. I think it should be. I don't feel any sharp edges or anything grabbing. this meets any resistance, we'll stop and do it some more. We're good. Alright, so we'll clean this off. Oh, now the brush is not over here. Now the brush is over here. Just get all the dust off of here. This is dry, clean, regular household dust. This just comes right off. As opposed to when it's used in like a kitchen or something, or in the presence of the smoking, which is not condoned on this in general. And it's much more difficult to clean up, but this is easy. For the lubrication, we are going to add some oil inside the wicks here after we clean them out. A quick pass through of some clean ticker towel before we re-lubricate. Yeah, they're a little dirty actually. That's worse than I expected. Now that the bearings are clean, at least cleaner than they were before, ready to re-lubricate, clean the shaft off a little bit. Seems pretty clean. I think this was just dry. I don't think it was really gummed up like you get sometimes. We're going to add oil all around the outside of the bearing here because there is a like a felt-like material inside here that will hold oil, and then the oil permeates into the bearing when it heats up during operation. And that will take quite a few drops usually, even on a small motor like this. On the back bearing, we can actually just put a couple drops down the hole because it won't just come out the inside. and that it will become an air pocket when you try to insert the rear. It just takes some time. As you can see, the friction now is very, very low. Very content bearings. Alright, slip this back on into the motor, this. And I'll put a drop of oil along the front here from the slides on. Actually, this back bearing is on upside down. It doesn't really matter, but just for the sake of being thorough, we'll swap it around. The sticky Honeywell logo is supposed to be facing like that. These do not go very tight, especially on these fans. This portion here was made out of like a pot metal, and it's fairly poor quality. As these age, they are known to sometimes just like crumble. This one looks like it's in pretty good shape still, but definitely don't want to give that any extra force. Alright, so now you might find that the thing is very stiff. It's kind of the case here. I'll take the screwdriver and lightly tap it after we just said not to put any extra force on there. And the tapping will free it right up. That was just an issue with the bearings not being aligned. These are self-aligning bearings. They're very easy to work on. This is very free. Where you go. I've always found that these fans, especially the second generation, which is this we're working on here, these have very good motor bearings. They seem to last a long time, which is not often the case when it comes to these cheesy C-frame shaded pole motors. Just that extra drop of oil in there for good measure. Alright, that's as good as it's going to get. Wipe off any excess. Good. That's one motor down. And we'll move on to the next one. It's a little dustier, but it's the same procedure. This one's a little bit sticky. This might have been used near a kitchen. Still coming off pretty easy, but quite as easy as the other. Alright, the shaft is pretty dirty, so we're going to go ahead and sand it down. There's a little nick on the end there. We're going to sand it down as well. And once you score the bearing, that's really a pretty catastrophic thing. There's not really any recovery from that, so definitely want to avoid that at all costs. So I'll just plug this in again, like this. Come on, I'm trying to film. This is really dirty. the dirt and rust all the way up to the end, right where it goes into the bearing. Sad shape right now. They're real neat. I think we're good. Feel anything else there? We'll see. If it hits any resistance, we'll just stop and sand it some more. Curiously, this is year 03. And this doesn't say anything. I thought that these were sold in like 06, 07 kind of era, not 03, but maybe they're older than I remember. Or it could be old, the motors could have been old stock, who knows. So this is over 25 years old at this point. Which is kind of scary, because I remember buying these when they were new. Not this particular fan, but this model. I remember buying these back in the 2000s or so. One in the CVS. And that black one and the white one. Oh, this motor is a totally different makeup than the other one. So this one has the bolts on the back instead of the threads. The other one's a little bit easier to deal with. Not by much. I mean, the only thing this adds is now there's a bolt on the back. You got to remember to put in technically a nut. And there's also lock washers on the back as opposed to lock washers on the front. That's kind of stupid. Why would you put the lock washers on the back? You're not doing anything because the bolt is held in place, so it can't possibly spin. The lock washer should be in the front. I wonder if that was an assembly error. Okay, good. Now that this is opened up, we can get the rest of the dust off of there. For this one, you can see there's a little bit of scoring on the bearing surface. The focus, so that's just from running dry without oil. So this one, I think we're actually going to take this into the garage and we'll polish this up, take it to clean it up. Unless it happens to clean up just with the oil. If it doesn't clean up, we'll spin up the shaft and clean it. Yeah, it's not clean up, so we'll have to take that into the garage and clean that up a little bit. That's that, right? No problem, we can get that cleaned up. Pretty good and clean now. This one. Back one was pretty clean. Alright, let's go to the garage and get this polished up. I'm going to be working over here in my lamp graveyard. Yeah, in my defense, there's not as much junk on this table as there usually is. Semi-chrome polish. You need only a very trace amount for this. A lot of it goes a long way. I mean, a little goes a long way. Yeah, I'll do one more shot. It's much better. A little bit on the bottom too, we'll do that as well. Alright, good. We got rid of all that scoring on the shaft. Looks much better now. Since I already had the apparatus out, I probably should have done both of them. But, oh well, the other one was not bad. This is the one that was bad. Since I have the thrust washers off, we'll go ahead and just give those a quick wipe down. Oil. Should have put the oil in prior to that, so it could have been soaking the whole time, but that's fine. Much better. Hello. Hello. Who is it? Who is it? You're a stupid dumb face. Your nose is ugly and crooked. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna put the lock washers in front because that's the only way that it would make sense for them to actually do anything. I really think that might have been an assembly error. Which would be uncommon, but it's not unheard of. And the reason why I said it should be this way, because the screw head can turn, and the lock washer would try to prevent that. If you put the lock washer on the back of the nut, where the nut sits inside a hexagon, or whatever the shape is, the nut can't turn, so the lock washer is serving no purpose being on the back. Much better than before. Yeah, I should have polished the other one. It does make a difference. That should really just become like standard procedure for servicing motors. This other one's not bad, but it's not quite as good. Alright, these are ready to go back together. I gotta get a little piece of wire for this other one that's missing the clip. And at this point we're just waiting for the parts to finish washing. There's like one or two too many screwdrivers in here right now. One of these is supposed to be in the garage. And I think that it's one of these because these are identical. So that's going to go in the garage. And this can come here. That can go there. That's a little more reasonable. Oh. Wow, that actually has become really nice out. I think we're going to go work in a garage for a little while this is washing. This has developed a very annoying sound. And I believe it's coming from this part of the suspension. Of course, I probably won't do it now that we're on video. There it is. Sometimes it's very loud, but you can kind of hear it now. what's causing that. I don't know if it's this junction here, or the actual piston itself. I'm hoping that whatever it is, we can just lubricate the whole thing and it goes away. Bought a stand for working on these things a while back. Never got around to putting it together. Still haven't. Could use it right now. Still not going to put it together because I'm getting hungry and I just don't want to. I don't feel like dealing with it right now. It's not this one. It's metric. It's a 5. Okay, now this no longer has any suspension. I feel like it was this was the creaking sound. This is like plasticky. I feel like that could make that sound if it was under pressure. I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. This is turning in here and this is not. So there's our potential plastic creaky sounds. I wonder if it's supposed to turn in there. Yeah, I think it is supposed to turn in there. Alright, so we gotta figure out how to lube this up. It's getting more free as I'm moving it around, but there's definitely a lubrication issue. I'm gonna guess it's right here. I wonder how you would take care of that. That's definitely what the sound was, this plastic creaking up against the frame, because this plastic is not supposed to move. It's supposed to pivot inside here. I don't think that there's any way to really open this up. I could just replace this whole apparatus, but it's not worth the cost for just a stupid annoying noise. put some oil in there, but oh wait a minute, here we go. Might be getting somewhere now. Is this? I think what actually happens, no, this whole thing is turning. The metal's turning with this one. Yeah, I feel like this shaft should be turning. It is if I can grip it. It will turn if I grip it, but not easily. Is that dried up grease? Well, let's put some of the 3-in-1 oil in there and see if that fixes it. The 3-in-1 oil is not for fans, but this is listed on the can. 2 wheels on a can. I don't really use the black can often. I'm always using the blue can, which is for fans. Oh no, there's some in here still. Alright, it's freeing up now. I wonder if we could actually just take this whole thing out. Yeah, there we go. So we could take that out and then we could potentially grease it back up. It's like a plastic surface in there. That's definitely what the sound was. That was the sound of creaky plastic. 100%. This is probably supposed to take some kind of grease, but obviously what was in there was no good. Didn't work anyways, so I was going to try a little bit of this oil for now, and then if this doesn't work, then we'll try something different later. Well, I don't have any grease on hand. I don't use grease for much. spinning pretty free now. I think that's much happier than it was. And, you know, this might only last a couple weeks and then the problem resurfaces. If that's the case, then I'll have to... Well, I should probably research and find out what grease it's supposed to be anyways, but... this will at least improve the situation. And probably should do the other side preemptively. Dried up sticky grease on here, like sticky molasses. It's getting pretty windy out. Much better. I'm convinced the problem was on the other side, but while we're in here, I think it makes sense to just throw a drop of oil in, lubricate this up as well. That's good. Both sides are nice and free now. Yeah, I don't think that's going to have any issues now. I suppose these bolts should probably have some oil on them too, because this, well actually no, that's not the flux point. The flux point should not be between, or the pivot point should not be on this to that, it should be that to that. So this shouldn't require any oil. What's up with this spring here? Won't go in. Not the spring, this screw. It's lined up on this side, but it's like it's not lining up on the other side. Maybe we can pull it in alignment with the other with the bolt. There it goes. Let's see if it makes any more noise. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that fixed it. Sounds pretty quiet now. That's the brakes. There's no more suspension creak that I can hear. I can still feel like it grabs a touch before it moves, so it probably doesn't have the right kind of lubrication in there. But I think we need that. Yeah, that's good. Alright, now we just gotta put some more air in the wheels and then we should be good to use this today. These have gotta be at like 5 PSI, it's down to nothing. I haven't used this in a while because of that stupid creaking noise. These can take 65. Yep, 40 to 65. We'll go to 65. Actually, probably go to about 70. It's not even registering on this gauge. Leave it there because you always lose a touch when you take it off anyways. This is a little slow trying to inflate the car, but this is perfect for this use case, and this is what I use it for all the time. Probably should put some oil on the chain, that's pretty dry too. This one's at about 10. This is what I usually use on a chain. Don't spray anywhere near the brakes, and don't ask me how I know. This is not aligned 100% because this is bent, and I have not been able to find a replacement yet. Alright, that should be good. Oh, jeez. Alright, we'll call that good to use. Okay, we're gonna make some lunch or dinner or whatever the heck meal this is. It's like 4:30. We got some eggs. A friend of mine has chickens, and he brought over some eggs yesterday, so we're gonna be making a lot of things with eggs over the next couple days. Which is nice because we know these eggs are sourced ethically. I gotta warm up some things here. We've got some potatoes that we're gonna warm up. And we're also going to warm up the remainder of the onions from the cookout. Hello?
Hello?
I can't stand you. I really can't stand you, and I wish you would stop calling me.
Hi, this is Amelia from Solar Energy Group. I would like to share some details about the new solar program after the recent presidential change. Going solar is absolutely free for the homeowner. Many in your area are already cutting their electricity bills by up to 50% with government-backed rebates. So, are you the homeowner?
So, are you a liar? Do you have any honesty or integrity left in your stupid brain? I guess not. Okay, now we'll warm up the onions. just about done. This pan was a little bit too small, so it's like halfway cooked and halfway not. This is eggs, onions, and potatoes. It's delicious. Top it with a touch of salt. The potatoes are already seasoned, so there is some salt in there. Well, some watermelon too. We'll eat out front today. Beautiful scenery, nice patchy sun over the lawn. Late evening sun coming through the leaves. Beautiful. Oh, that's interesting. The speed of this fan must be some multiple of approximately 60. Here's all the parts out of the dish, the washer. Everything came out great. Nothing got damaged. The logo might be a little bit lighter than it used to be if you look at it up real close. This one I don't think was affected at all. A little different, you know. Oh, this does match the motor, 803. And this one is 06, 906. I have never had anything get damaged in the dishwasher yet, but I guess it's always somewhat of a risk because this stuff's not supposed to be in there. I certainly wouldn't put this in there again, but just the one time when I get stuff from the outside, you just never know where it was used or what's on there. It just makes good sense, and really it's a game changer because it would take me an hour or more to sit here and meticulously clean every single piece, and it never comes out perfectly, and it's annoying and it's tedious. I don't enjoy doing it. This is great. I can put this in there and then I can go work on something else, and then when I come back it's just perfect. Alright, let's get this stuff reassembled and we'll be able to use these tonight and the rest of the week. Turned out to be a beautiful day today. It's currently 82 over 44. Moisture out of the holes where the screws go in. Alright, so let's get the motor reattached. The high side of the cord is the non-textured side. So the non-textured side, which is this, go to the black wire, and these were not soldered from the factory. The other ones were on the white fan, but I'm not going to solder these. They're making a good enough connection like this. Alright, and now we'll crimp this back. You can usually get away with reusing these things once, sometimes twice. After that, probably not much more, but again, this is not a normal cleaning procedure I would do for routine service. I only went this far because this is one that came in from the outside, and I just wanted to give it a good thorough cleaning before I start using it in my house. Stuff that I use regularly, a couple of blasts of compressed air is really good enough. I mean, of course, with oil in the bearings and whatever other service is required. Okay, the motor is reattached. Very important to get all these wires in here so they don't come out and potentially get stuck on the blade or something like that during operation. That would be very terrible. Sometimes you gotta go wire by wire with these clips. The labeling should face front. It does. Then we'll get the motor secured. Make sure that no wires are getting pinched anywhere. You're going to get pinched. Something's not quite right here. I saw several pinch marks in the wires when I took this apart. So I want to make sure we put it back in such a way that's not like that. Just for the sake of the electrical safety. Maybe these should stick out the bottom then. Let's try it like that. Kind of makes sense to me. Sit like that. That feels much better. Yeah, it looks good. I don't see anything getting pinched this time. Yeah, there's not a lot of airflow through there at all. Wow. A lot of these are set up like that though. It's a wonder that these things don't overheat. And these shaded pool motors can run pretty hot without getting damaged though. Well, we just kind of created a separate problem here because now these are a little bit too far out. We don't want that to be able to come out and hit the blades. Maybe if we put the wires on the left and right sides, just so that they're underneath the motor. Maybe that's the best way to do it. It's on the sides. Let's see. Okay, that's good. They're secured down there and everything still fits nice with the motor. Went right down with no resistance. Okay. It's a little bit loose now because of the sanding we did on there. Not sanding, but polishing. But This is still intact, so that shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to close this back up and stick it on. There's got to be somebody out there that knows what these are called. What are these called? Would be worthwhile for me to just order a whole box of them at this point. We use them often enough. Just push it back down there. No, it's not working. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to pinch it back down more while it's off, and then we're going to turn it around. Maybe 90 degrees. Oh, it just broke. I hate these things so much. Okay, now I got to drill through the shaft and put a... You know, oh, that is so annoying. I hate these things. You know what? I'm going to try to find out what these are called and order some new ones, because I'm going to have to delay this whole thing out because of this. I'm going to do that now. I hate those stupid things. I really do. There should be a threads with a nut. That's what should be on there. I just ordered a whole box of those pieces of garbage. So we'll just wait until tomorrow to finish this. But I can put the motor back in this white one. And technically we can use these tonight without those stupid things. It's not going to be a problem. It's really more so that, like, if I'm moving it around, you know, shuffling it into storage or whatever, that's when the blade might fall off. I really don't think it's likely to fall off during normal operation. This motor, I drilled a hole in the shaft because I was going to put a piece of wire past that through and hold it on. But I didn't realize these were going to fit so loose after the cleaning that it might not completely solve the problem. This one is still fitting tight enough that we can really just forgo it on this one. In fact, the piece of wire would be enough just in case for whatever reason it decided to come off. But since I've got the right thing on order, we'll put them back. Okay, on this one the cord is, high side is non-textured, so the black wire goes to the non-textured side. the same on this one. We'll do the two wire connections on either side of the winding. Slack to work with here because we have to cut the wires. There's even less slack than there was before. If you just stick them at the bottom like this, maybe they'll hold in place well enough. That's fine, I think. Nothing looks pinched. You can see the marks on the wires from where it was pinched when it was assembled at the factory, but it's not pinched anywhere now. Motors are working, or the bearings rather, are working very good now. Both are very content. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this like this. Maybe I'll use these tonight. They're usable as they are. Just can't turn them upside down or anything with that blade will come off. I'm not going to put the screws in because I think that the way that the screws screw in is kind of flaky and I don't want to use it twice for no reason. So I'm going to just leave them held together by the clips only, which is adequate for now. And then tomorrow, when those things come in, we'll go ahead and put new clips on the shaft, and then we'll screw it back together then. And we'll just make sure that these are working now. I'm sure they are. I have no reason to do it. Oh yeah, those are cranking now. Much better than before. The black one's actually running faster. I really should have polished up the shaft on both. Curiously, these got going right away. I always remember, even when these are brand new, I remember them taking a fair bit of time to, I guess, warm up, if you will, before they reached full speed. Let's make sure low works as well. Yep, it does. Are they in balance? The white one's in very good balance. The black one is in, it's a little bit out. It might be worth trying to balance it. You know what? It might be from the blade being loose on the shaft. I can hear the blade moving up and down the shaft as it turns around. That might be what the balance issue is. Yeah, no doubt the polishing of the shaft definitely makes a big difference. And that really should be a standard procedure at this point. Alright, we'll pick up again tomorrow when I have those stupid dumb clips in stock. Alright, we'll probably be back here later tonight. But for now, it's time to go outside and enjoy what remains of this. Turned out to be a very nice day. I don't know if any of that video actually was clear or worth anything. Most of it was probably blurry because the gooseneck part was not staying still. It kept moving. At the end, when I took it off the gooseneck and put it on the clamp directly and put the clamp on the handlebars, that was probably fairly clear. But I forgot to turn the camera off prior to moving it, because this camera will take a Horus Cam video even if it's orientated in Verticam, but I think you have to start with it Verticam physically and then record, and then it goes Horus Cam. You might be able to change it live, but I kind of remember something about that and shutting it off for some reason, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be Horus Cam, maybe it won't. I don't know. But there was no squeaky noises, so the problem was fixed. Electricity is not turned on over here. Okay, now the electricity is turned on over here. I want to try to clean up some more window fans today. We're getting down to the end of the summer here. The next couple of weeks are prime window fan time. Fix that situation tomorrow. Okay, what window fans should we service tonight? I have, let's say, I have several Lasko products I want to. Maybe we'll do the Ultra Force ones. Now, this was on top, so I'm going to start with this. These are a very pleasant surprise. I hope that they clean up nicely, or they come apart easily, as easy as they, or come apart as well as they work. Today we will be cleaning and servicing a Lasko 2138 twin window the fan. This one is probably from the mid to late 2000s. It has the fuse to plug, so it has to be past like 03 or 04, and it's the blue, so it can't be the earliest iteration of it. But it still has the blue Lasko flag logo, so it's got to be, I would think, earlier than the 2010s. I picked one of these up at random at the thrift store, and it was just a really pleasant surprise. It worked very well, and I already see something that's making me upset, which is a stupid, dumb security bit. I have to go get my security bit set before we even get started here. How stupid is that? There are a lot of screws on this thing. Well, let's see how this comes apart. It could be better or worse than the Holmes, or the same. I find it hard to believe it's going to be worse. You know, I can get the security bit out with no problem, but not everybody can. So the fact that it's there is definitely annoying. That's a machine screw, which means this probably latches onto something in here that I'm never going to be able to get back in place. And there's a washer. And that was out of frame. It's a classic. I'm getting a feeling that this is going to be a reassembly nightmare as far as these side panels go. Need to change the contacts on that switch in there. Okay, here's our stupid security bit. It's a dumb triangle. I don't have dumb triangles in here. I have three wing heads. Maybe that'll work. This is so stupid. Like, what? And it's just one of them too, which is like such a slap in the face. Like, why? Why is this necessary? Why is the consumer who paid good money for this product not allowed to just clean the dust out when it gets dirty? Flipping stupid. Oh, I can't stand this. This is terrible. Not right. Stupid dumb triangle screw. Why? It's not necessary. And there's only two of them too, so it's like you get through the whole thing and you get stuck because there's two of them that you can't get. It's so dumb. It's dumb and stupid, and you know, people that are actually inclined enough to do this are not going to be stopped by some stupid dumb bit. Alright, that's the end of my rant for today. Okay, all the screws are out. Oh, yeah, that's definitely better than the Holmes, no doubt about it. There's going to be a couple things that are a little flaky upon reassembly that we'll have to make note of, such as the handle. And yeah, these side panels are probably going to be a reassembly nightmare because they just kind of popped out without being able to tell. Actually, those can be reassembled prior to putting it on, so that's not bad. Okay, we do have some glued down wiring, which is not cool. But other than that, nothing looks too particularly atrocious inside here. The fans are secured with nuts. This is how it should be. This can go in the dishwasher. Those are pretty good blades. One of these work well. And it kind of has similar aerodynamics to the Holmes ones, where it's not completely flat, but it's symmetrical on either side. It's interesting. These look like the old Raider motors, but they're branded HH or Hung Hsing, so they're not Raider motors. This is all kind of screwed up. I suppose if we took the bolts out, this could probably go in dishwasher too. This wouldn't want the bolts to get lost, or the nuts rather to get lost. Alright, now we've got a bit of a maze in here to get all this stuff out. There's some glue on here preventing these screws from coming out. I'm just going to unscrew them anyways. Fortunately, this seems to be some type of hot glue, and it's peeling up relatively easily. Alright, so it looks like it comes in and goes directly into the thermostat. I wonder if this has terminals on it that we can remove. It does not. So what I think we're going to do is we're just going to cut the cord. And we'll patch it back with some wire nuts at the bottom. Good enough. At least most of these screws have been the same size so far. That screw is full of the glue. Oh, these, oh man, these all come out. I suppose if glue had to be used, this at least was the right kind. But I still think it's ridiculous that glue was used. These are not inexpensive fans. They shouldn't be built like this. There's a lot of glue in this chamber here. puts glue over the top of the screw? Oh boy, I heard something fall. There's some staples here. That's kind of dangerous. Hopefully that wasn't anything too important. Alright, all this stuff is going to go in dishwasher. Probably should try to get this glue out of here first though. I don't know what the heat and the water would do to that. Alright, this should be good now. Hopefully all these stickers and everything stay on there correctly. I'm not sure if they will or not. Actually, they still have the plastic film over them. I think I'll just leave them alone. Oh no. This is a little bit too tall. I have to take the top right out. be able to get away with that. This is quite the predicament. How am I going to fit both sides in? This is important. We got to get cleaned up. Oh, this is super sketchy. Oh, I'm gonna have to run it twice, I guess. That's fine. I'd rather run it twice than sit here and scrub all these pieces manually. Okay. Well, I was not expecting that to be a problem. But it's a problem. But I felt a tick crawling on my person. I guess I'll just wash those in the sink. It's simple enough. Alright, well that's we're stuck with that. I mean, there's nothing else we can do about it. Not ideal, but we'll go with it. Oh no. I need to turn the water on. Yeah, I guess that's to make sure it doesn't leak. I don't think there's that much force on it. Today. I don't see any leaking. I think it's fine. Oh no, this is about to fall. Okay, while that's washing, we'll service the motors. This should be fairly simple. Since these are already working very well, I think all we're going to do is just add oil. I don't think we're going to do any other cleaning. Is the stator stuck to the front? I would have preferred it to be at the back. Yeah, it's coming with the front. I want it to stay in the back. There we go. Alright, so we'll just add some oil. It actually looks like it's pretty well lubricated still. The motor itself looks like it's put together very nicely. I don't see any loose strands anywhere. Everything's tied up pretty good. Surprisingly decent quality motors. I have noticed that these 3-speed dual window fan with the thermostat, these are usually have decent quality motors at least. Well, servicing them is a whole different story. We're just going to add a few drops of oil around the outside of the bearing like this into the felt material that holds the oil, the wicking material. It was already wet. There was a decent amount of oil already in there still, which is in stark contrast to what we usually see today. A lot of fans don't ship with adequate oil anymore. And you can just barely get some oil into the front here as well if it's still assembled. It's spinning very freely still. I don't think that there's any need to fully dismantle and do a full bearing service on it. Touch too much oil. Okay, and we're just going to slip it back in place. There's no signs of wear on the visible part of the bearing there either. These screws are a stupid size. Nothing is fitting them nicely. Stop falling over. That's the best of the options here, but none of them are correct. That's running perfectly. There is definitely no need for any additional service there. Well, sometimes you get an easy one. Other than the stuff not fitting in the dishwasher, this has been pretty reasonable so far. is that? It's coming from the outside as long as it ain't something on my property. Not like some piece of equipment breaking. Yeah, these are both running very nicely already. Okay, well that's about all we're going to do for the service. At this point, we just got to wait for the dishwasher to finish 2 cycles, and we'll put it back together. Okay, while that's going, we're going to patch in a telephone line in the garage. It's getting all cramped over here. I had all this, had this all cleared out, and now stuff's piling back up on the floor again. It's impossible to keep anything clean around here. Actually, this belongs in the garage, so I can go back out there when we go to patch up the phone lines. Crimper, and we need some RJ11 connectors. Dang it, I just placed an order for something this morning. I could have ordered these in the same thing. Oh well. Well, we only have 3 left. I need 2 to do the project, so I can make one mistake and that's all I'm allowed. I have I guess this can do it as well. This wire is already run, so I'm not going to do a separate video for this. It'll just be on this video only. If I was running the whole wire and everything, then I would say it warrants a separate video, but this just doesn't. So this is the wire. Let's see if I can get you in here a little bit. There's a lot of stuff over here. I gotta clean this part up. Alright, that's as good as we're gonna get. That's a little better. Okay. So, this wire here, that was never patched to anything, goes out to the garage. And I don't know why I just never got around to hooking this up. But it's time to get back into telephones. I miss them. So we're going to be putting telephones up all over the house. I always feel like fall, for whatever reason, is when I get back into telephones, because you know it goes in phases. In the summer you get interested in air conditioners and the fans, because there's only 2 or 3 months out of the year we can really use them, although I do use some at Christmas time. So it's been kind of fan heavy the last couple months. In the fall we'll start to move back to telephones. Alright, so we're going to use, we use the blue and, this is not blue, this is green. The green and white pair. And we're just going to do one line in there for now. I could add a second line and maybe do a digital line in there so we can use a feature phone if we wanted to. But we just need one analog for now. So we put the two wires in the middle there. And then we crimp it down with these piece of junk crimpers. Alright, that should do it. Now we'll go into the garage and we'll crimp it on that side. Alright, here's the other end of that cable. And this can support, this is Cat 5e, which is like dirt cheap at this point. The twisted pair is nice, it eliminates some of the noises you'll get. And we can put up to 4 analog lines through this, or 2 digitals. I should probably get a jack and put the jack up there correctly. Here's the jack. It was made in China. Okay, where should we mount the jack? I don't know. I gotta put more lights on. The video is not picking much up. It wouldn't really make sense to put it on here because then the wire has to just go, the phone line has to go backwards. We could put it backwards and then it's going to be difficult to plug in phone line. So I'm not really sure what the best thing to do is here. Maybe I'll stick it on here. I think that might be our best bet, is to put it like that. Alright, we'll do that. That'll work. So now we gotta open the jack. I think I have some small screwdrivers out here. This one might work. These jacks are not very good quality, but they get the job done. Those screws, we're not going to use those screws. Actually, there's a 6-pin connector for it. That's kind of weird. Oh, actually, we don't need that. So we're going to use the 2 center ones, which are red and green. So I actually need to go inside and get my strippers for this wire that's this small. I think this is just barely long enough to feed down nicely into this area. fastener. Create extra work that we don't need. Ah, the power of having the correct tool for the task. It's excellent. That's not going to work. No good. I could tell it didn't strip completely properly. All right. Now we will stick the wire in there. These other conductors are not going to be connected to anything on either side, so I don't really care if they can potentially touch the wires, the open thing in there. It just doesn't matter. Probably only going to get one screw in. This is because the angle is really bad. And it's not worth the frustration to try to get two in. It's only a stinking phone jack. It's not like it's going to be having a lot of force on it. I think in a perfect world it would go underneath this. Yeah, we should be able to achieve that, I think. I really hope the wires don't break as I do this. Sometimes that happens. These can only accept a very small number of flexes before they just break. Where is the hole? There it is. That's not in the right spot. Nope. Now it is. Make sure that the wires are not pinched underneath the screw. They don't seem to be, which is like nothing short of a miracle. No, they're not. Okay, did we get that without any wires breaking? It looks like it. Cool. That wasn't bad. Let's put the stupid cover on. I have to take the power board down briefly to get the stupid cover on. It just doesn't quite want to go. Okay, the stupid cover is almost on. Come on, stupid cover. Okay, the stupid cover's on. Hopefully the wires didn't break off. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I'd rather check than blow something up tonight. No, it looks good. Very surprised. And this wire fits in between there perfectly. That's good. Okay. Now I'll go plug it in. And then it should be the live. Okay, I got one telephone line. I need a second one now. I saw some in the garage earlier today. Here's one. So we've got a cordless phone here. This is just here from something else. I gotta put this away. We'll use it for now. I'll put something cooler out here eventually. These are decent telephones, you know, for something made today and something that's fairly cost effective. I think these are decent. You know, the call quality is satisfactory, the range is satisfactory, the interface is satisfactory. It's not as good as Unidem, but it's good enough. We'll connect this telephone. That's a stinking handset cord. Well, that's good. Nothing exploded yet. You can't have that telephone, this cordless phone there. Too much interference. Can we eliminate the interference? Alright, this seems to be okay like that. I don't like that though, because who the heck wants a telephone in the window? That's stupid. It seems okay with it on the other side. Alright, then we'll just leave it like that. I wish I had a short cord to patch this together with, but that short cord that I had is a handset cord, which is kind of weird. I don't even know what the heck that would be used for. Okay, that's working. We got to set the date and time. Kind of like those songs. Interesting ringers. Okay, speaking of ringers, let's go ahead and call this and make sure it's working properly. It's not. How come this isn't working? It's always a problem. don't know why this isn't ringing. The data's coming through properly. Granted, we don't really need this to ring because it's plenty loud in here as it is, but it's not correct. I'd like to at least understand why this doesn't work. So the ringer is like partially busted on this then. It should ring only one gong when it's on the switch to the right. It's ringing no gong, so it's definitely flaky, but it's ultimately working. I don't understand what the problem is. Something is off. I think at this point in the day, this is going to be a problem for some other time, as I'm getting kind of tired and hungry. It's not working. I don't get that. It's like not trying to ring at all. I know it's getting a ring signal because this other telephone works. Okay, let's try this one. I don't think it worked anyways, the ring time ran out. Well, I don't know why that's like that. That's kind of weird. Very strange. Well, it works. There's audio there. We can dial out. I just don't know why there's no ringer volume to it. Well, I don't know. That's a mystery. I don't really need it to ring in this particular use case, but it would be nice. I'll have to try some, I'll have to try a electronic ringer phone and see if that works. Oh, very strange.